The night was cold, and the wind carried a quiet sadness through the empty parking lot behind the old bus station. A girl, no older than 20, sat curled near a dumpster, hugging herself as if she were trying to hold her heart together. Her clothes were thin, her breathing shaky, and her eyes distant, as though she had run out of strength to stay alive when the headlights of a group of motorcycles cut through the darkness. She didn't even look up. She simply whispered, voice cracking, "Just end it. I can't do this anymore." The riders stopped. They weren't the type of people anyone expected to be gentle: leather jackets, worn boots, loud engines, the intimidating look of people who lived on the road. But beneath all that, they were still human. And they could see pain when it lay right in front of them. Their leader, a tall man with gray in his beard named Ranger, stepped off his bike and raised his hand slowly, showing he meant no harm. "Easy," he said softly. "No one's ending anything. What happened to you?" But she didn't answer. She just trembled. When Ranger reached her side, he noticed her hands gripping her stomach in a way that spoke of both fear and protection. "Ma'am, are you hurt?" he asked. The girl shook her head, tears spilling. Just let it stop," she whispered again. Before the story continues, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to Storysphere for more emotional, inspiring stories that warm the heart and remind us of the good still left in the world. Ranger exchanged a worried glance with the others. One of the riders, a woman named Tessa, knelt beside the girl. "Sweetheart," Tessa said gently, "we need to know what's wrong. Are you injured? Are you sick?" The girl hesitated, then with trembling fingers, she pulled up the side of her shirt just a little, just enough to reveal a small medical device attached to her skin, blinking red. A glucose sensor. A pump. And next to it, a patch where another device was supposed to be. Tessa gasped softly. "You're diabetic?" The girl nodded weakly. "My pump died yesterday. I've had nothing to eat since morning. I didn't have the money to replace it." Ranger's face softened instantly. All the fear, all the despair, suddenly it made cruel sense. She wasn't asking for her life to end, she was asking for the pain, the dizziness, the weakness, the hopelessness, to stop. "Why didn't you go to the ER?" Tessa asked. She lowered her head. "Last time I went, they said I didn't have insurance. I didn't have anyone to call. I just walked out." Ranger looked at his crew. No words were needed. They were a family built not from blood, but from promises, one of them being never walk past someone who's broken. "Okay," Ranger said firmly. "Let's get you up. You're coming with us." The girl panicked. "No. I don't want trouble." Ranger placed a hand on her shoulder, steady and warm. "You're not trouble. You're someone who needs help. Let us do that." They carefully lifted her, wrapped her in a warm jacket, and guided her toward the bikes. Tessa sat with her on the back of hers, arms secure, voice calm as she whispered, "You're safe. I promise." They didn't go to a hospital first, they went to a 24-hour pharmacy. Ranger walked inside like a storm with purpose, paid for a new insulin pack, glucose tabs, snacks, warm drinks, and a small blanket. When the pharmacist heard the girl's story, she offered to check her sensors and helped adjust her levels until she was stable. As warmth returned to her cheeks, the girl began to cry, not from fear, but from relief she hadn't felt in years. Why are you doing this?" she whispered. Tessa smiled softly. "Because you deserve to live. And you don't have to fight alone." When dawn broke, they took her to a community center where Ranger knew the director. They arranged temporary housing, medical assistance, and counseling. They even gave her a prepaid phone so she'd never be unreachable or alone again. The girl, whose name was Mia, looked at them with new light in her eyes. "You saved my life," she said. Ranger shook his head. "No. You stayed alive long enough for us to find you. You saved yourself. We just helped you stand again." Mia's story didn't end in the cold that night. It began there, because sometimes, the people who look the toughest on the outside carry the softest hearts, and sometimes, the ones who feel invisible are the ones who remind us what kindness truly means. And in a world full of noise, one small whisper, "I need help," can be the start of a whole new life.